guys. My name is Sheryl. I'm the founder and co-owner of Cupcake Central. I've also got a business called, where I'm a founder of an organisation called League of Extraordinary Women as well. So I split my time up in between these two businesses. So today I'm going to focus on Cupcake Central, and I've got a little bit of stuff I want to share in terms of social media. So hopefully some of you will find that interesting. But to kick it off, I'm going to start off with my story. I was actually just speaking before at RMIT, and so I was just talking to a whole bunch of students over there as well. But I actually started my career. I'm not a pastry chef. I started in just in IT. I thought that was my dream job. I studied business information systems. I really didn't know what to do straight out of high school. I just saw my uncle, and he was making heaps of money being an IT consultant, and he would, work for 6 months of the year and get paid shitloads of money and travel for at least 6 months. And I thought, I want to do that. So I thought, and I thought that was my dream job, landing an IT consultant role at a global company. So I did that for about 5 years, but I really quickly realized that I just didn't like the corporate world. I would wake up every morning thinking, what excuse do I have so I could get out of work? Literally every day I would wake up and I would go to meetings, and I just remember trying to stay awake. That's all I remember. And it was like Groundhog Day. We would do the same meetings over and over again. And, they would charge me out for $2,000 a day. I would not get that much money. And we were just literally just doing the same meetings over and over again. Anyway, and I guess where my passion for cupcakes came from was when I went to New York. I was 21 at the time. I did this subject called Globalization Study Tour. It's really weird. You basically go for a month, and it was worth 6 months of work. So I thought, yes, I'm going to go on a trip. And it actually turned out to be one of the best things ever, because we went, I went on the Sex and the City tour bus. It wasn't part of the school thing, but we went to this bakery called Magnolia Bakery, and people were just lining up for cupcakes, and it was just ridiculous. People were just lining up for a whole hour, and I thought they were crazy. And of course I did the same thing, walked in there, got a cupcake, and I thought, oh my God, I'm obsessed with cupcakes. And so when I came back, I was working and baking cupcakes every other chance I got, and that was basically my passion. I started baking cupcakes, and I taught myself everything. I didn't even have a functioning oven when I started. I had one of those little toaster ovens, and it was the first time I had baked anything from scratch. And I baked these cupcakes from this little toaster oven and brought them into work. And all my workmates were like, wow, these are really great. I'm like, really? And I guess the day that changed my life was 2009. It was May 2009. We're in May now. So this is more than 7 years ago. 8 years ago now. And the GFC hit. Walked into work one day, and they handed me a yellow envelope and said, you no longer have a job here. And I thought, wow, this is great. I just worked my ass off for a promotion. And went home crying. I didn't even tell my mum that I lost my job, because I know what she would say. But I told my dad, and I was crying. And he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. But then I thought it was time to follow my dream and hatch that dream. And so I decided to bake cupcakes for a living. And I remember telling my friends, and they're like, what, are you having a quarter life crisis? What are you doing? Are you sure you're going to bake cupcakes for a living? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I had 6 months. I had, a redundancy package, and I thought, okay, I've got enough to live for 6 months. I had to move back home, which wasn't fun, but you got to do what you got to do. And then just started up my business with less than $2,000. And so the first 3 months, what I did was I scribbled out a business plan, and I still get distracted all the time. And so what I literally had to do was I left my phone in the car, went to a cafe with a book and a pen, and I wrote out my whole business plan. And I still have that book to this day, and I drew it out. And it's really funny because it does look very similar to what we have today. I registered a business name. I became a sole trader. I registered my home kitchen. I was just saying before when I was speaking that when I went out, I didn't know how to start a business, so I just asked my friends or people I knew, and they didn't have businesses either. But I said to one of them, hey, do you know how to register a home kitchen? And they were like, oh, I think it costs like tens of thousands of dollars. And you have to build a whole different kitchen to your normal kitchen where you cook in, like home. And I thought, I don't have tens of thousands of dollars and I don't want to build another kitchen. My parents probably won't let me. And I just, and I thought, I'm just going to call the council anyway, just ask. And then I called up the council and I realised that I didn't really need to do much. I just had to modify the kitchen and put in like a little hand sink thing, like one of those, you call automated hand sinks. So I went on eBay, bought one for $300, got someone to, like my uncle to help me install it, and that was it. Like literally, it just cost me probably less than $500 all up. And that was my first lesson. Never take advice from people that have never done it before. We're all part of EO, so we're part of Entrepreneurs Organisation. And so one of the key things is that when we go into our forum, so we get allocated these little groups, we're never allowed to give advice to other people. We always have to speak from what we call Gestalt language, where we have to speak from experience. So whenever I need to seek advice, I always ask people that have done it and also ask for their experiences, because when they share their stories, it's so much more valuable rather than someone telling you what to do, because everyone has an opinion. Anyway. So I launched my online business. So I was in IT, so I got my friend to help me design a website. This was 7 years ago. I actually bartered him, so he was getting married, so I said, I'll bake your cupcake, like wedding cupcakes, if you build me a website. So that's how I started with less than $2,000. And yeah, that was my first, one of my first forays into selling cupcakes at the markets.
Did you start in Hawthorne?
Yes, Hawthorne's our first store, yeah. Yeah.
You delivered free cupcakes to our business.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so these are the first cupcakes I ever baked in my little toaster oven. And I didn't even know how to make frosting. It was from those little piping bags from Woolies as well. And it was so grainy, it's so disgusting. I can't believe people actually ate them. Okay, so this is now fast forward 6 years. We now have 5 Cupcake Central stores. We've got 100 staff. We've launched a cookbook, but we've already launched our second one for pre-orders. So that's the second cookbook is coming out in July. I'm one of the co-founders of League of Extraordinary Women. So all of last year, I basically spent all my time in League of Extraordinary Women, which is an organisation for female entrepreneurs. So we run conferences and meetups. There's a meetup tonight, which I'm not at, but I'm here because I love you guys too. But yeah, and I've kind of like won some awards. We sell over, I think, 30,000 cupcakes a week now, which is a lot of cupcakes. And yeah, just like some pictures here and there so you can see. Everyone always asks me this question, when is the cupcake bubble going to burst? I really don't believe there is one, because cupcakes are like, for example, I just hate cutting cakes. I went to a birthday a few weeks ago. Like, no one eats cake. I had to help cut this cake up, put them onto plates, and no one wanted it. Like, at the end of the night, it was like still plates of cake everywhere. Whereas cupcakes, every time I bring cupcakes anywhere, they just disappear because people just want to be selfish and don't want to share. And you can have like more than one flavour. So Heading on to, I forgot to mention that I have a business partner who's also my ex-boyfriend, which is probably a story for another time. But he's also, no, we're still good friends or business partners. He has multiple other ventures, and I only have two, but we work really well together. And I think trust is really, like Emma said, you really need to trust your business partner. You're going to have to trust that they won't, drain your bank account. That they're going to say what they say they're going to do as well. So when we've built our business from the very start, we looked at our brand, our vision and our values. So these three things that we really stick to, so everything from hiring staff to, creating new product lines or a cookbook or whatever it is, we look at, quality. So everything we do within our business is all about quality. So whilst we probably aren't very healthy, we put smiles on people's faces unless they're on a diet. So quality means that we use really great quality butter from New Zealand, Madagascan vanilla, Belgian cocoa. So when you're eating a cupcake, it's not like a cupcake from Woolies, that's from packet mix or whatever it is. It's actually really good quality ingredients, and you can really taste the difference. The experience part is that we believe that we're not in the business of selling cupcakes, we're in the business of selling an experience. So from the point where you walk into our store or you hop online, we really make sure that you have this whole entire experience. And what I'll actually touch on as well is the element of running cupcake workshops, which we use We Teach Me as a platform as well. So that's really helped us kind of grow that of the business. And aspiration. So when I first, imagined myself having a business, I thought, I really want this to be an aspirational product where people would, walk around with a box of our cupcakes and people are like, wow, they're Cupcake Central cupcakes. And believe it or not, I'll go out to bars and whatever, and I'll see people holding our cupcakes, and people will actually say that. I see them and I get so amazed when people go, oh, they're just not ordinary cupcakes, they're Cupcake Central cupcakes. And that aspirational element is really what we push ourselves towards, because I guess what's the point in creating a half-assed product? You want to do something really well and have people become big fans of it. So that's what we kind of do. So it's more than just cupcakes. We're in the experience and emotions business. Especially cupcakes is really quite nostalgic. People kind of remember their childhood with it. And the experience is just as important, if not more important than the product itself. We run masterclasses and teach people how to bake. So when I started this probably 3 or 4 years ago running these classes, people used to think, well, isn't that crazy? Why are you giving your recipes away? Why are you inviting them into your kitchen? What if they're starting up their own cupcake business and stealing all your ideas and stuff? And my whole mantra in life is that the more you give, the more you get back. And I think inviting people into the kitchen, there might be 1 or 2 people that are starting up their own business, but there's more than enough people out there to buy cupcakes or cakes from you. And I think business is so tough. So if they could go through what I've gone through or we've gone through as a business, then I believe that they should have all the success as well, because running a business is really tough. And we hire on passion and enthusiasm. So again, similar to Emma, we don't hire just on skills and experiences. I really think attitude is really so pinnacle to every great employee or team member in the business. So we always look at that. So we always have fun, people behind the counter. I hated going to work, so I didn't want people to feel the same way when they come into work and you're selling cupcakes. You can't be upset at that. But at the same time, though, I've just had to fire a couple of my staff, because I've kind of just stepped back in, and it is hard. It's like high school. Like people are like yelling at each other. Someone called one of the other staff members the C word, and I had to like come in and mediate. I was like, what the hell is this? We're not in high school, but they are. They're still like 20-year-olds working. So anyway, yeah, so social media, we now have, I think, 55,000 followers, but when I started I did it all myself when we first started, and I think I got onto the bandwagon a little bit early. So Instagram, when it first came out, I started using it quite a bit. I wasn't very good at it, but I just learnt and taught myself. So these are the things that I've learnt on how to grow an account. It is still a little bit hard. I mean, it's harder now to build an account with a lot of engagement and followers because there's just so many accounts out there. But I find that it's still doable because with my League of Extraordinary Women one, I was able to get it to over like 80,000 followers now with no paying influencers or anything. I did that like in 6 months. And I think when you have something to give to people, then people will actually follow you and tag their friends and stuff. So every post, we need to think whether we're entertaining someone, we're educating them, or enlightening them. So the post needs to have a purpose. Obviously, with Cupcake Central, it's mainly entertaining. We can enlighten them. Sometimes I educate through just doing videos of how to pipe cupcakes. The brand language and voice, we try to make sure it is all very, very consistent. If I still had to do social media today, I literally won't be doing anything else. Like, I won't be living life. I have social media assistants, I guess they're called, or marketing people to do it. They work within my business, so they're really good at what they do. And also sometimes, when I find something inspirational on Instagram, and I thought, oh, we can actually use that idea, I'll just like private message them or send them that image, and then they can do it up however they want. We do a lot of engagement kind of things, so competitions. We used to do Wing It Wednesdays. Every Wednesday would, get some, win a box of 6 cupcakes by tagging someone. So that works really well because people love free stuff. And regramming. So I think building that community where, for Cupcake Central, it's really hard because all of our images need to be our own images, or we're regramming someone else's images of our cupcakes. Whereas like League of Extraordinary Women, we can just regram anything really, or create a quote or anything like that. But for us, like, it's so time consuming, like taking all those photos. I'm sure you guys know how hard it is to take a photo. It can take up to an hour just to create one of those photos. And also engagement. I tried Snapchat, but I've gone off it. I'm just over it. I'm just on Instagram stories now. I just find that there's so much more engagement through Instagram stories. I call it seeding, using social media influencers. It's ridiculous now because social media influencers, they get paid a shitload of money. They'll charge you $600 for a post or something, and they have 10,000 followers or something ridiculous. But anyway, I find people that are really in line with our values, and it still kind of works. I do social media events where I just invite all these, I don't know if they're called bloggers anymore, they're just influencers, but they come along and they're like, oh yeah, create your own cereal milkshake, or whatever it is, and they love it because they get to have this whole experience of creating a unique product or decorating their own cupcake, and then they take a photo and they post it on their feed, and then they tag us, and so that's how we've been able to grow our following. Even though we've only got about 50,000 followers, most of our followers are based in Melbourne, so they're really targeted, and engagement is higher. So yeah, we've got people. That's a video that we kind of did, and it's got 50 comments. So I don't even tell people to tag it, but people just kind of see us frosting these cupcakes and they just tag their friends. And innovation. So, there were a few years ago, there were so many cupcake bakeries around, And even now we have like donut time and all these donut shops coming around. So like for us to kind of really keep in front of mind is we try to keep innovating. So we do a lot of, it's so funny, we just reach out to Recorder League or we just reached out to Kellogg's and they're like, yeah, let's do something. That all these big brands now want to work with smaller brands to kind of increase their engagement as well. So I think if you ever want to collaborate with someone, don't think that you can't. Just do it. Just reach out to them. I just like create this PowerPoint presentation, or now I just do it on Google Slides, but you just have to put, a few slides together, why you should work together, and always have a think about what they can gain out of it, not so much what you can gain out of it. And I find that that people respond to that really well. Oh, yes. And back to my workshops as well, give We Teach Me another plug. But when I used to run these workshops, it would take me so long to book people in. Like literally people would have to call up and then I have to like tell them the dates that we have the workshops on and then book them in and then take their payment. And then some people would want to cancel. It was like a mess. And literally now we use We Teach Me, and we're one of your first clients actually. And we've the very first, it feels so special. But literally, it's so easy. We just pop on the classes. People kind of, come and book in, even though the booking fee is a little bit high. No, just joking. I think we've made like almost $250,000 just in workshops. And, when I told Tin, my business partner, I'm like, let's do workshops. He's like, whatever, no one's going to book into them. Who would want to learn how to bake cupcakes and stuff? And now, we've generated over, $250,000 in just workshops alone. That's really helped us build our brand, because when we do these workshops, people will take home their box of cupcakes and they tell their friends and family. They post it up on Facebook. So in return, it's actually, we've been doing it for 4 years now. A lot of people know about Cupcake Central is actually through the classes and word of mouth. So that's been really awesome. And we did cake shakes before all the freak shakes came out. And so it didn't really take off, but we did the crop cake, which it was like a spin-off of those croissant cronuts. Yeah. But we didn't think that it's so hard to make. It was really, really hard to make. And then we just kind of sent it into Broadsheet, and Broadsheet's, yeah, we'll run a story on it. And so they ran the story the day before we were going to make them. And, by 9 a.m., we had like a whole line of 100 people. And because they took so long to make and they were so hard to make, we just sold out within like 45 minutes and people were so disappointed. And then we never made it again because it was so hard to make. I was like, no. Like layers of pastry. Anyway, whoops. And we put donuts in the cupcakes because donuts were really trendy. And then collaborating, I think, as a small business, this is like where it's all at. Like for you to get your name out there, especially on social media or anywhere, is just finding people that you can collaborate with. We've really, kept our mind open in terms of who we collaborate with. So some of the people that we've worked with, is, Cake Boss decorating. Cake Boss is like this huge TV show in America. They launched some products down here a couple of years ago, so we did some collaborations with them. We did a couple of collaborations with N2 Extreme when, nitrogen ice cream was quite popular. Matcha Maiden. Actually, it's a really good, fun story. So Matcha Maiden is Sarah Holloway. I don't know if you guys know her, but she went to one of the first League of Extraordinary Women events, and she was a law grad at the time. And she knew she wanted her own business but didn't know what to do. And she kept coming along to our league meetups and, got really inspired by other women starting up their own businesses. And a few years ago, she couldn't drink coffee anymore because she was allergic or something. She made her sick and she wanted caffeine but couldn't get it in the form of coffee, found matcha powder but couldn't find matcha powder that wasn't, like full of sugar and stuff like that and food colouring. And so she imported her own matcha, a whole kilo of it from Japan. And she just thought, oh, I'm going to start selling on Instagram. And, within 6 months, like she was, she's got so many followers now. And within about 6 months or something, she quit her job and just started selling just packets of matcha powder on Instagram. And Urban Outfitters stocks it. So I was just there in America a couple of months ago. Matcha Maiden's there. She has a cafe called Matcha Milk Bar in St Kilda, which is like a vegan cafe. But I think it's kind of like, give it a go. And I think it's really kind of awesome to see other people kind of do it as well. And that's why I share my story, not so much to Anyway, I got to wrap it up. Yes. Oh, okay. Yes. That's it for me.